can see right now. We may each call God by a different name, but we love the same. So don't go throwing stones at anyone. And don't think you are better. The truth is we're all one. We love the same. We feel hope and we feel shame. We forgive and we feel pain all around the world. We believe in so much more than we can see right now. We may each call God by a different name, but we love the same. Don't go throwing stones at anyone. Don't think you are better, 'cause the truth is we're all one. We love the same. We feel hope, we feel pain. We forgive and we feel shame all around the world. We believe in so much more than we can see right now. We may each call God by a different name, but we love the same. We love the same. Good morning, everyone. My name is Kim, this is Joe, and we're here to serve today and lift you up, along with Reverend Frankie and our friend, Theo. I had a brain thing for a minute there. You ready, Joe?
I am ready, let's do it.
1, 2, 3. La 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 di da, la 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 di da, la 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 di da, di da. La 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 di da, la 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 di da, la 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 di da, di da. I choose to be centered. I choose to be grounded. Right here, right now, right in front of this Facebook crowd. I choose to be present, as possible. I know when my purpose is clear and has been found. I'm open and aware of every mystery. Letting in the light, and it's all shimmery. I'm standing on my own, in my well-balanced home, centered and grounded. Ready, Joe? La 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 di da, la 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 di da, la 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 di da, da da. Sing along. La 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 di da, la 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 di da, la 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 di da, da da. I choose to have a wisdom, that's forever available to all who choose as a way to come together. I choose to be connected. I choose to have spirit and let go of the heaviness and flow have the wisdom. Right here, right now, right in front of this YouTube crowd. I choose to be present as possible. Knowing my purpose is here and has been found. I'm open and aware of every mystery. Dancing in the light and it's all shimmery. Standing on my own in this well-balanced home, centered in the ground. Come on, shall we? Mystery. I'm letting in the light, it's all shimmery. Standing on my own, my well-balanced home. Standing on my own, in this old yoga pose, centered and grounded. La 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 dee da, la 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 dee da, la la.
Thank you so much. It's always great to have you two here and light up the place. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, because we now know there's people from all over watching us. And how fun is that with the internet? Some of you are good early morning, right? And so, as most of you know by now, and for some of you this is new, we have a theme for the year 2020 vision and a theme for the month, which is inclusion in action. And then today the topic is our true identity, and we have with us Kim Yarson and Joe Jakubicki. Said it right? Yes. Mother and son. And Theo Tilton, who is the practitioner of the day. And so with this topic, what I want you to know that I'm going to talk about is that when we tell each other about ourselves, we have a tendency to talk about our roles and our relationships, what we do in the world, who we're with. And so what if we would share more of our true identity, of our soul identity, of what's in our hearts? What would that be like? I think if we could cultivate that kind of freedom through the spiritual path, we could truly know what the world could look like as a healthier, happier place, right? So my name is Frankie Timmers, and I'm the spiritual director here at Center for Spiritual Living Morristown. And if you want to know more about us, please check out our website, cslmorristown.org. That's also a place where you can give if you so feel moved to support the good work that we do here. And if you're on Facebook, you can't do this on YouTube very well. I think there's a thumbs up and a thumbs down, but on Facebook there's lots of bubbles. Theo is online and responding to you, and so let us know you're here, where you're from, say hello, ask us tell us what's going on, ask us if any question that we may not answer today, but we'll answer in a future time. So tag someone, share this with others that you think could use some spiritual nourishment. So here we are, true identity. So in the Netherlands, growing up, there was this game show I used to love, and I think my family watched it together. And I believe it's a game show that probably already exists here, or also exists here or anywhere else in the world. But it was a game show where 3 people would come on stage, and they would be like plumbers. And I would say, my name is Joe Schmo and I'm a plumber. Or my name is Joe Wisdom and I'm a plumber. Or my name is Joe so-and-so and I'm a plumber. And then the audience or the panel had to find out through questions and answers who the real plumber was. And I think it even happened with names where, you know, my name is Frankie Timmers and I'm the spiritual director of Center for Spiritual Living Morristown. No, my name is, so right, so it's usually 3 people, and I used to love that game. And it reminds me of how usually when we identify with life, with ourselves, we talk about what we do as a career. We talk about family roles, mother, child, brother, sister, uncle, aunt. We identify maybe with our condition. You know, I am tired, or I am worried, or I'm happy, or I'm filled with joy. So usually what we're identifying with is our ego nature, our personality. Nothing wrong with that, because we don't want to make it good versus bad, ego versus our true identity, right? It's just all information. But rarely do we identify with another person from our place of heart, from our place of soul, from our place of our true nature. I mean, I rarely have somebody come up to me when I meet them. They say, I'm a spiritual being having a human experience, and right now I'm learning about patience. But wouldn't it be great if that was something that we could share with one another? What if we did? So that's really the message today, that let's explore this idea of identity and where and how we identify ourselves and each other. And how if we identified more with our spiritual nature, how much more freedom we would experience, and as within, so without, then that would be something we could share with others. And so what if we lived more in that place of inherent freedom? So when we talk about ego, personality, and soul, what we're really talking about, which we learn on a spiritual path, or at least in the Science of Mind teaching, the soul is your experience of your own divinity. It is your part of the universe, your experience of the universe. It is the truth that is already within you, inherent within you. It is the real you. It's the whole self, the integrated self. It's the part of us that is changeless in the sense that it is already pure and whole and perfect and complete. Our ego nature, our personality, usually are the masks that we wear. Again, not good or bad, but the mask of I'm male, I'm female, I'm tall, I'm short, I am American, I am Russian, I am a minister, I am a musician, I am a coach, I am a chiropractor, I am a doctor, right? All the things that we identify with when we look at what we do in the world and what our roles are. They are all the parts. So that makes sense, right? When we look at soul, that's the whole of us, but the ego nature and the personality is about the parts, and it's ever changing. You can tell by your moods. You can tell by when you resolve something in your heart or resolve something with somebody in a relationship. You feel different. So they are temporary. And so the journey, the spiritual journey, is really the only journey that exists. It's the only journey of why we are in a physical experience, a human experience. The soul journey is what life is all about. At least I believe that. And the ego, the personality, is the vehicle, is the way. There's a reason why we are different races, different culture, different language, different relationships, different everything, because those differences are tailor-made, I believe, for each and every one of us to step into that soul journey consciously and to grow and to raise our vibration and to evolve. And so in a soul, from a soul's perspective, we get to use everything that is given to us or that we experience at the level of personality or ego. And from a soul perspective, the idea is to use it for good, to use it for ourselves instead of against ourselves, to use it to awaken. So that's especially true when it comes to human relationships, right? There is the oneness of all life at the level of the soul, but at the level of the ego and the personality, there's the level of me and you and they and me and this and that, right? It's just so that we can come back to the place of the one and true way of being, the one and true relationship with the higher self. And so we have relationships with each other, we have relationships with ourselves, and we have the relationship with the divine, with spirit. So especially now when we're talking about inclusion in action, and of course there's so much to say about that, especially when we talk about diversity, there is a gift and a blessing available to us to truly stand in the oneness of all life and live that by means of love. And so when we look from the perspective of soul, really, I am you and you are me. I am Joe and Joe is me. I am Kim and Kim is me. I am Theo and Theo is me. So when we really see the self in another, that's when we remember that we are one. That's why we can relate when we talk about our childhood. Or we can relate when we talk about any condition that is either fantastic or not so great. That's why we can relate when we suffer or struggle, or when anyone suffers or struggles. And all that is for us to be used to free ourselves. So I particularly love the Science Mind magazine this month. The writings are by Tracy Brown, and I'm finding that every day has so many gems in it. And there is a quote on August 6th. By the way, if you don't get this magazine, you can subscribe to it. Science of Mind magazine, and this month has the theme that we're talking about, inclusion in action. So she actually has, on Thursday, she has a poem that really touched my heart. And she prefaces it by this: each one of us is a complex human being. Learning to love and honor ourselves provides a strong foundation that allows us to see the complexity in other people. To give love to ourselves, we must learn to love ourselves fully. And this is the poem, the whole me. No sharp edges, just curving lines in constant motion, weaving in and out of the traffic of life. That's me in 5 colors. Some earth, some bright, some separation, some overlap. Confusing if you focus on one part too long. Inspiring if you step back and notice the flow. No sharp edges, only bends in the road, no wrong answers, just adventures to unfold. Separate paths connecting and converging as one when I let the whole me be. And so we know already from psychology that when we are in our ego nature and we struggle, that, which is mostly a struggle, I think, we either fight, flight, or freeze, right? We experience fight, flight, or freeze. But when it comes to our soul journey, we are free, and we live from that place of inherent freedom. It's Howard Thurman who said, "There's something in every one of you that waits and listens for the sound of the genuine in yourself." There's something in every one of you that waits and listens for the sound of the genuine in yourself. It's the only true guide you will ever have. And if you cannot hear it, you will all of your life spend your days on the ends of strings that someone else pulls. It's the only guide you will ever have. And if you cannot hear it, you will all of your life spend your days on the ends of strings that someone else pulls. Each of us, that means each of us, are here to discover and express and live from our essential nature, to live a full soul life. That is the greatest work we will do as a person, as a human being. And it is the greatest gift that we can give ourselves and each other, because it frees ourselves of roles and masks, from the urge to fight, flight, or flee or freeze, and that allows us to remember that we are here to be used by the universe for good. So it doesn't matter then whether you're experiencing addiction, loss, disease, lack, any limitation, whether you are struggling with race or age, identity, ethnicity, although some people have more of a struggle with that, of course, we see that, right? But all of it can be used for us and for our awakening. And those of us who are having an easier time, we can use that for good, to be in support and in service, which I will come back to. So how then do we identify more with our spiritual nature and less with our personality nature, our masks? Well, the good news is that you already know. You're just telling yourself you don't. You think you don't. Maybe just sometimes. Some of you all the time. Some of you most of the time, right? You already know. Your soul already knows. Your spirit already knows. You already know. You already know. You simply have to have a friend ask you and you'll be happy to tell them, right? And so, why then do we have so many questions? And where do those questions come from? It's because we're not using the spiritual wisdom that we already embody, that we already know, that we already have. And so for me, the answer today, and it might change tomorrow, but it's been the same for quite a while, is meditation. And actually, it's not even meditation as a formal practice. It's just being still and sitting and doing nothing and just being and allowing the wisdom within to bubble up, to just sit still and wait, to simply wait, which I know we're not very good at in our culture. Waiting is not one of our strengths for most of us. So I'm reading this lovely book because I'm obsessed with this author, Sue Monk Kidd. I recently read her latest book, The Book of Longings, and it made me want to go back to all the books she has written, so I ordered them all used. And this one is called When the Heart Waits. And the Heart Waits, I had never heard of it. And she talks about an experience that she had at a retreat at the Abbey of Gethsemane, where Merton used to live. And there was the brother Anthony who said to Sue, "Contemplative waiting is consenting to be where we really are. People recoil from it because they don't want to be present to themselves. Such waiting causes a deep existential loneliness to surface, a feeling of being disconnected from oneself and God. At the depth, there is fear of the dark chaos inside ourselves." So meditation, why would I want to sit still and have to face that dark chaos in me? Why would I have to sit and be still and face the discomfort? Because when we get still, we begin to commune with our spirit, our soul. We get to deepen our connection with life itself. We get to be more and awake until we remember our true identity. We get to listen for inner guidance and wisdom and then live it. And we get to serve from this place, serve all of humanity. And that requires time and space and practice, which often we don't want to do, right? And it requires that we stop wasting our time. So ask yourself this week, what is one way that I waste a lot of time? You can waste a little bit of time, but not waste a lot of time. Maybe watching TV, maybe being on Facebook, maybe worrying, maybe being fearful, I don't know. And see if you can waste less time on those things and give more time to just be. I love what Van Jones says. He says, it's in the convergence of spiritual people becoming active and active people becoming spiritual that the hope of humanity now rests. So we get to use our masks for good, not to hide behind. So I am always blown away when I watch stories of somebody who was brutally raped and then recovered and became a gift and in service to all those women and men that had gone through the same. I'm always blown away when somebody has a horrible accident and loses limbs, but they rally and become an inspiration in the entire world. I'm always amazed when somebody goes through a horrendous disease process and comes out in the other end and is there to support others. If there is something that you've never seen or never heard of it, I would say Google it. Google for inspirational stories as a way to be inspired yourself, to be an inspiration to humanity, to be responsible for your part in not only setting yourself free, but setting others free. And to remember that this is just a vehicle. It's just temporary for our spirit and our soul, which is here to be lived and here to serve humanity, to make the world a better place. So we have more music. This is a good time to have more music, right? So let's have Kim and Joe.
Give me 1 second.
Up. Okay, too high.
My
Lower.
guitar got hot and it sort of goes out of tune, and I don't want to do that again.
Right there.
It hurts Joe's ears. He has perfect pitch. So, and mine. Is that better?
Yeah. Let's play. The waters are being water.
So sorry. Forgive me.
B string. Yeah, a little higher, just a little higher. Right there. That's it. Ah, you're good.
There we go.
Or not.
Which one? Hold on. The D string keeps going out. D for delightful.
Ooh.
Alright. That's too sharp for a drop. Yeah, that's good.
The battle begins at birth. With our ego ends our true nature. As a baby, we're the center of our parents' world, but we grow into teens and think we're invincible. But soon we have to shed that little boy or girl to learn our true nature is love, pure love. It's our birthright and our greatest gift from above. Everyone learns at a different timetable to discover this, but once we do, we are free to see that our true nature is love, pure love. Life lessons will show us the way, and falling down a time or two. But we wipe off the dirt, then we get back up. We get stronger and smarter too. And the pain grows us and gets us through to our true nature is love, pure love. It's our birthright and our greatest gift from above. Everyone learns at a different timetable to discover this, but once we do, we're free to see that our true nature is love, pure love. true nature is love, pure love. It's our birthright and our greatest gift from above. Everyone learns at a different timetable, but discover this, and once we do, we're free to see that our true nature is love, pure love. Our true nature is love, pure love. Our true nature is love, pure love. And a finely tuned guitar.
That's great. Thank you, Kim and Joe. Alrighty, well, we've been talking about true identity, true nature, and there's things that we say to ourselves about that. And that is our own personal law that is creating that. And I'm going to talk about something that Ernest Holmes says. So for those of you that do have a textbook and you want to write it down, I'll put little notes in the chat and Facebook. It's from The Science of Mind, Ernest Holmes, page 188. And the section is called Place No Limit on Principle. Know in your own mind. Train yourself to think what you wish to think. Be what you wish to be. Feel what you wish to feel. Place no limit on principle. The words which you speak would be just as powerful as the words which Jesus spoke if you knew that your word was the law, whereunto it was sent. But you must know this within, not merely to accept it, not merely to accept it as part of your intellect, but to know it and be it. If you have reached that point of inner consciousness inside, then your word will simply be an announcement of reality. I will repeat that last sentence. If you have reached a point where your inner consciousness believes, then your word is simply an announcement of reality. So we're going to travel. We're going to do a little journey here. I want you to, for those of you that are driving, you can do this later. If you're watching this live while you're driving, I hope you're not doing that. But for those of you that have the ability, you can close your eyes and relax. Know within yourself, without a shadow of a doubt, that your word takes action in the infinite mind. It is not you that is the actor. It is the infinite mind that is the actor. You are simply the announcer. Think about an area of your life where it just seems off, doesn't seem in alignment, isn't where you want it to be. And it's okay. It's okay to go there. I declare right now that we give no power to these thoughts while we're doing this journey. But just go to that area of life. What are you saying to yourself about that area? Whether it's your health, your relationships, love, finances, the world. What are you saying? And now we're going to redirect ourselves from what we're saying bring it to principle. Answer this question. Who am I? What am I? Who is speaking? What is my life? When we answer these questions from principle, we realize that everything we create in any area of life pales in comparison to who I am, what is being spoken, and what is my life. That is your truest nature. That is your truest identity. Who am I? Who is speaking? What am I? What is my life? Such a power of right thinking and answering these questions from principle, knowing that you are the living, breathing life that is the one source. And everything unlike itself completely disappears and cancels and erases, standing in the answer of those questions. It will solve every problem. It will create the solution to any kind of difficulty. It is like the sunlight that is bursting through the clouds of eternal truth. It is completely absolute. It is the life of the one. That is who you are. That is who is speaking. That is your life. All there really is God. And so it is.
Thank you, Theo. You always take us deeper. It's always something I want to do again when Theo takes us through his practices. Not while driving, I promise. So I want to invite you to do a little homework, and then I'm going to share a little bit of some things that are happening at the center, online, and then we're going to have a closing treatment, and then we're going to have a little more music. So that song that Kim sang right after my talk, she wrote last night. Isn't that amazing? Based on my little blurb. So talented, what a perfect song. So, homework. There's nothing you have to write. You can kind of do it while you're waiting in line at the bank, or waiting in your car, or waiting at the grocery store, or in the shower. But to really just think about, when we think about true identity, false identity, to really think about who you keep outside of your heart. So who do you judge? Who is different from you and it's hard for you to let them in your heart? Who do you have resentment toward from the past? Who are you still wounded around? And to know that as you hold them outside your heart, that's the mask you're wearing, that you're stuck in the mask, and that you can't hear the voice of your spirit. And then breathe long enough to hear the voice of your spirit, of your soul, and what it has to say about that, which is usually a message of love. So the other thing I want to tell you about is this week, and this is on our Facebook page, on Wednesday the 12th at 7 p.m. or on Thursday the 13th at 11 a.m., Faith Saunders is presenting a Zoom event called Can You Relate? And it's called COVID-19 has given us all something to grieve about. Learn strategies that can help you to cope during these challenging times. So if you are on our email list, you will have received this. We'll send it again. If you aren't and you want to be on there, let us know. And you can go to our Facebook page and we will give you the Zoom information. It's a really powerful workshop. Wednesday nights, I am teaching something called Flourishing, which is really being tuned in to your essential nature and living from there. This Wednesday is the last one, and it's chapter 7 from 7 Spiritual Laws of Success by Deepak Chopra, and it's the law of Dharma, which is the law of your purpose. After that, I'm going to start something new that is still forming. It's going to be called the Art of Spiritual Living on Wednesday nights. On Saturdays, I have your treatment hour where you just show up on Zoom and I will talk with you, chat with you, treat with you, and we can do it in any way that works for you, that's comfortable for you. Because sometimes there's one person showing, sometimes 10. So we'll work it out to make it really wonderful for you. And of course, on Sundays, we are on Facebook Live and on YouTube, which means that you can watch it any time after today. So look us up there. Look us up on YouTube, Facebook, Meetup. We're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're on the website. And we're so glad that you are with us today, that you are joining us in this experience. We always love doing it. We love being together. And it really feels like you're all sitting here in the sanctuary. So my heart to yours, our heart to yours. And let's close with a healing treatment. And I will speak it in the I am, which is the true name of your soul. So right here, right now, I open my heart and my mind and my body and my spirit to the experience at hand, knowing that I am always open and receptive to look through the eyes, literal and not so literal, of love, of compassion, of a willingness to be curious and to learn something new, of willingness to be open to the experience at hand, knowing that I am here now because the universe has called me to serve a higher purpose as an individualized expression of the one, with my hands and my feet and my ears and my mouth and my eyes, but most of all my heart and soul, and to remember that I can let go of any obstacle, that actually the obstacle can work for me in my relationship to the world and everyone in it. And so today I am blessed to know that as a spiritual being, I have some action to move into. It is move your feet. It's the same. Spirituality is a lovely thing, but it isn't if it isn't lived. And so I am called to live from a higher place, from a more heartfelt, whole, connected experience of seeing and being love wherever I go, and being of support wherever I am needed. So today, I am so grateful that this is something that already lives in my consciousness, that I simply must wait and listen until I hear the voice of truth already within me. And the more I let go of everything is in the way, the more easy that voice is heard and acted upon. So I am grateful today for all of us that are doing good work in the world, that are being kind, compassionate, and loving, that are of service to their brothers and sisters in the world, whether it's in Beirut, or in Paris, or in New York, or in Portland, wherever it may be, there is something to give when it comes to being a healing presence. And so it is.
So it is.
Good morning. Wake up.
It's out again.
Reverend Frankie.
Everyone's got their own perception. When we grow up, our history can play games. Perception can sometimes be deception. But if you turn something upside down, it won't look the same. You can change your story. There's nothing that went wrong. You grew from every lesson. You know it made you strong. Don't believe the lies your monkey mind's been telling you. Your life is purely made of God's glory, and that's your real life story. Ah, ooh, ah, ooh, 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 ooh. The time is now to take a new direction. Let go of all your self-defeating ways. Live your life with purpose and reflection. Take all your old beliefs and wash them down the drain. 'Cause you can change your story. There's nothing that went wrong. You grew from every lesson. You know it made you strong. Don't believe the lies your monkey mind's been telling you. Your life is pure and made of God's glory, and that's your real life story. Ah, ooh, ooh, ah, ooh, ooh, ooh. We're gonna slow it down now, Joe. You ready? So embrace, transform, choose to believe you've made the best of your time here. Yeah, come on, Joey. You can change your story. There's nothing that went wrong. You grew from every lesson. You know it made you strong. Don't believe the lies your monkey mind's been telling you. Your life is purely made of God's glory. Don't believe the lies your monkey mind's been telling you. Your life is purely made of God's glory, and that's your real life story. Ah, ooh, ah, ooh, ooh, and that's your real life story.
Hey, thanks everybody. Thank you for joining us this past Sunday. We are